Hi guys, every time before a budget we hear the same threats, not so much from millionaires and billionaires themselves, but for some strange reason right-wing commentators, perhaps on their behalf, that if taxes go up for the mega-rich, they will leave the country and take their money with them. We've already seen Charlie Mullins, the millionaire boss of a plumbing company, claim that he's leaving Britain over his fear of what Labour will do. But it seems he planned all this before the election, which doesn't really add up. On the other side we have Dale Vince, the successful green energy tycoon, who's calling on the richest in the UK to shoulder the burden more.
I look at the coming budget and I think, I'm not sure what harm there can be in there for most people. I would welcome a wealth tax. I would welcome a rise in capital gains tax. I've campaigned for both of these things because there are people in our country with broader shoulders, with more money, and they pay less as a percentage of their income in tax than ordinary workers do, and that shouldn't be right. And I think
there's a suspicion if you put a wealth tax in place, which they are talking about as well, then people like you, not necessarily you, but people like you, would flee the country.
There are no people like me. But
would you pack them and go if they put a wealth tax in place?
And I think very few people would, and if they did, they're not the kind of people we want here. If they're not willing to pay their fair share to live in this great country, they should leave.
Well said, well said. If they're not willing, they should leave. Now, it's unlikely they will leave. This is always an empty threat. This is always something that's been put out there before a general election and before a budget, that the mega rich will leave if you tax them too much. Now, as I said, it's strange that it's actually been put out there by right-wing commentators who are generally not themselves multimillionaires and billionaires. But it's very difficult for the mega rich to leave because a lot of their money is tied up in assets. Property, for example. It's very difficult just to sell that up, turn it into cash, and then leave the country. And also, moving massive amounts of money out of the country is a problem. And also moving money into another country can be a problem. So, and of course, you're going to have to pay taxes in that country. So, while the commentators will say these people, if you increase their taxes, will just up and leave, it doesn't really work out like that. Now, the other point, of course, these people have made huge amounts of money thanks to the system that's in place that has allowed them to do that. What I mean by that is they have benefited from education, they've benefited from healthcare, they've benefited greatly on the backs of ordinary taxpayers for allowing them to create this massive amount of wealth, and it's unpatriotic to just up and leave and take the money with them. So while on the one hand they will say, if you tax us more, we'll leave. On the other hand, we know that they have benefited from a system that has allowed them to become extremely wealthy. It's highly unlikely that they will actually up and leave because it would not be in their own financial interest. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.